Okay, if your estrogen is low and you're not working with your nervous system, you're missing the root of what's going on. So today we're going to talk about why your nervous system is the hormonal switching station, if you will, and the key to having balanced hormones. And I'm going to talk about some simple tools that can really help you shift, both from a scientific point of view, but also a Chinese medicine point of view. So welcome. My name is Angela Warburton. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. I've been working with women for the past almost 30 years now, and I've been helping women navigate perimenopause, menopause with a blend of Eastern medicine, modern science, soul, really practical tools that you can have in your toolbox or in your back pocket so that you can feel better. My mission's really here to help transform the way we see midlife and menopause and aging, not as a decline, but as this powerful shift. And it's called a second spring. And if you're interested in that, there's so much that I do. But right now, today, we're going to talk about estrogen and your nervous system. So, from a Chinese medicine lens, estrogen is linked with yin energy. So, we have this natural balance of yin and yang. Everything can fall into those categories. Yin is the cooling, nourishing, moistening energy. It's really about that parasympathetic rest and digest state. It is essential. We need both yin and yang. We have, surprise, a very yang, active, doing world out there. And the yin side, the resting, the more reflective time, the time where we actually take time for ourselves, isn't so common. So when the yang or that active energy takes over, or when it's out of right relationship with the yin, we go into overdrive. We get overheated, hot flashes, perhaps, depletion. And over time, when we just are operating in that doing, it drains this yin side. And this is what I see. Number one in our world today is we're overriding our need for rest because we think we're lazy, the world's going to fall apart, we've got so much shit to do. And so we just will like, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. And over time, a lot of the symptoms we associate with midlife, perimenopause or menopause, very common, not normal. It's more of a sign that your stress bucket or your capacity, your body is sending out all these warning signs. And over time, they're going to get louder unless we listen to them. So this can show up with hot flashes, dryness, eyes, dry hair, vaginal dryness, dry skin, anxiety, palpitations, insomnia, waking up at 1 or 3 in the morning, brain fog. All these are signs that our body's off of balance. This is not inevitable to have during perimenopause or menopause or any kind of aging. It's just that the signs and the symptoms are getting louder to get our attention. So really, stress isn't a bad thing. It's just out of right relationship with that yin energy, that reserved energy. I can think of it a bit like a bank account of energy. And if we just keep going and going and pushing, it's like we're dipping into our retirement fund. And one day we're in overdraft. So that's what a lot of the symptoms are. And so the nervous system, it's kind of the same from a science perspective. It's just we talk about it in different language. So the nervous system is meant to go from a relaxed state into a stress state, back to a relaxed state. Stress is not bad. Stress can be good. Whenever we're doing something new, we often get a certain level of stress. And then we do it, and then we should go back to more of a relaxed state. So this fight, when we're in a chronic state of survival, or when we're in survival, we often get fight, flight response, freeze response, appease response, make everybody happy, everyone okay. And the HPA axis, so the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, signals your body as to what to do. So when we're in this constant state of stress, our body's saying, whoa, we need to produce more cortisol and adrenaline, because we need that to potentially get out of the way of danger. So where we might normally have cortisol, wakes us up in the morning, it gives us our get up and go. It should naturally decline at night. Estrogen is more of a juicy hormone. It gives us that nice plumpness in our skin, that, moistening. It's more of think of moistening versus heating and activating. We're not going to go into too much detail because this is a 10-minute video, but I think most of people know about this. So when we prioritizing cortisol or we have too much over everything else, reproduction, repair, digestion, and hormone production can be put on the back burner. If we have a certain amount of energy, and normally we would allot it to the different hormones, if we're in a constant chronic state of stress, it's going to produce cortisol. So estrogen, which naturally declines at midlife, let's just put this in context. We're built for this. When we're young, we have not a lot of hormones. We're little kids, then we go through puberty, a lot of hormones, and we have this cycle which will allow us to procreate, be fertile individuals if that's what we choose and if that's in the cards for us. So then we'll have this fluctuation during the month that will change. When we go through midlife, our body's saying, I'm going to reprioritize energy for longevity. So we're meant to drop in estrogen naturally. We should have enough to last us. The body also will modify things. We get way more estrogen receptors in our brain and different parts to utilize the estrogen that we have. But if we are operating in this chronic state of stress, then our body is dipping into that reserve and we don't have enough estrogen. And that's when women tend to notice symptoms like hot flashes, the intensity goes up, mood swings, sleep, whatever, whenever the stress is high and we're not cycling in and out of that stress response. Unfortunately, our world has us in a high level of stress a lot. Can be just the amount of work, the amount of things that we try to shove into our day. If you're driving in intense traffic all the time, even media. I noticed for myself, I cannot watch anything distressing, violent, upsetting on Netflix or anywherever, like any kind of movie or media. It's just too upsetting for me, and it actually causes me to be dysregulated. And I maybe won't sleep so well at the night. I'll just feel a little bit stressed. My heart rate I'm often will watch movies like this. I'm like, is it done yet? Is it done yet? No. Okay. So just noticing that it can be something that we do as leisure, but it can actually cause stress on our body. In addition to workload, if you're managing kids, maybe they're young kids, maybe they are teenagers, maybe aging parents, relationships, just the pace of the world and the information that comes in, it's a lot. And stress is part of being alive, but it's a lot and too much for our systems. And this is why we're seeing so many women struggling with midlife symptoms. Interestingly, there are many places in the world that don't have the symptoms we associate so commonly with midlife in North America, in the Western culture. So it's really about the pace and this way in which we're living that is contributing to this. Now, people often are like, well, what do I do? I've got all these things to do. Like, we have busy lives. So what we can do instead of, for sure, there are ways that we need to change our life to maybe create some more space for ourselves, or ways or patterns that we're, what we're eating, how we're showing up, how we're, staying up super late, not getting enough sleep. Those can contribute. But there's a really simple way to remind your body that it's safe, to reset the nervous system so that it can go back into that rest and digest phase. So we're not having our pedal on the gas and the brake all the time and burning things out, which is often what it's like when we're in that chronic state of stress. So just signaling safety allows your body to recalibrate, allows your system to, in that switching station, say, oh, we don't need to produce cortisol in the evening. Actually, we'll just save that for the morning. Now we have melatonin and our sleep and our rest hormones coming online, and we can produce the estrogen that we're supposed to be producing, or the progesterone or the testosterone that we're producing at this time. So resetting tools don't need to be complicated. And what actually is the best if they're very simple and repeatable. So if we can do things, take 1 minute, it can reset your nervous system, and you can get that breath. Usually voices will drop. You can feel yourself come back home to your body. Heart rate will lessen. Anxiety can lessen. You can just feel a little more space just in a minute. So there are lots of different ways. I'm going to put a link to my nervous system playlist because I've got tons in there. But little simple one that you can do right now if you're working at a computer a lot, your eyes are one of the biggest. We take a lot of input through our eyes. And so a simple thing that you can do if you're sitting at your desk is a 20-20-20 rule. So every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break and look 20 feet away. So this is going to give your eyes some rest. So you're at your computer, you just 20 minutes, you have an alarm, you just notice it. You're going to look away from your computer and you're going to let your eyes rest on something. So I have a beautiful tree outside my window and it's about 20 feet away. I'm going to set my eyes there for about 20 seconds. Alrighty, I can just feel myself relax. If you can get out in nature, that's even better. And the beautiful thing is when we look at a landscape or we look at nature, our eyes go from this very narrow vision, which is what we do when we're stressed. We narrow in to see things, to expanding our peripheral vision. And that naturally put our head back in space. And that's another way that our nervous system is going to relax. So there you go, 20 seconds, every 20 minutes, 20-second break, give your eyes a break, look about 20 feet away, look at a natural landscape wherever you can, feel yourself drop down and go back about your day. And if you're noticing, just a little suggestion, if you're noticing that you're stressed, do this. If you are noticing that you're expanding your capacity for something, you're showing up in a different way, you're going to do something that's new, you can do this to expand the good in your life. You can expand like a capacity to try something new because our brain kind of gets scared when it's something new. It's like, we know this, we might want to do that, but we know this, so let's stay here. And it's also, if you're feeling really good, sometimes that can be very dysregulating for people. What's going to happen? Is the shoe going to drop? How am I feeling? Like, can it be good? And so if you're feeling that, another great time to do a nervous system resetting tool. So if you've just been focusing on your hormones, but ignoring your nervous system, you're working on branches without actually tending to the roots of what's going on. And this is how we like to look at things from Eastern medicine. We get to the root of the imbalance, and then that's going to percolate up through the tree or the person, which is us. So it's not just about fixing low estrogen. I often say the hormones are the canary in the coal mine. It's about rewiring your system so that it can thrive, because this is a time when you're meant to thrive. And symptoms are guideposts. They're telling us what's going on. And if you can listen and you have these simple tools, you're going to feel better. So there you go. If you like this video, like it, pass it on. If you think there's a woman that would benefit from it, I'm really here to help as many women thrive. People, it doesn't have to be just women. I'm focused on women in midlife, but honestly, I want everyone to thrive and feel good. And when you understand your body, the better it's going to be for you and for the world. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for being here.